We are on YouTube. How
Hey,
did you get on YouTube? We cranking it up here on Facebook Live and starting the
Make
show
up with me.
as we usually do. Yeah, Makeup with Stephanie's back on YouTube. That's an exclusive on YouTube.
It is. Only YouTubers.
Only YouTubers get to see that.
Everybody else is a sucker. This
We-
is what our shows come to.
yes.
$8 lip gloss. $8 lip gloss. Look at this. $8.
Wow.
I know. Carborough, $8. It's getting low. And I don't have any money.
Probably because you're buying $8 lip gloss.
That would be a start.
Oh, you set yourself up for that one.
I did, didn't I?
Oh.
That's okay. 3, 2, 1. Roll it. See how I made that magic happen?
You made it happen.
Welcome to IE Newswire Daily with our hosts Stephanie and Roy, where we cover the news from the Inland Empire and beyond. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Here we are. We're back on Fantastic Friday. You caught on with that coming in. Yeah, we're cranking her up here, ending up this week.
Cranking it.
Yeah, we're ending up this week of hopefully the work week for everybody. You're getting it and you get ready to cut loose on it. Starting now.
Cut loose.
Yes, you got the weekend to party on. One of the big things for the racing community is the Chili Bowl Nationals are
Bowl Nationals?
Yes, have been going on all week. Tomorrow, well, tonight will be the final qualifier. Tomorrow would be the big crescendo. Over 300, I think, well, close to 250 midgets showed up, or 250 to 300 showed up there this year in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the big indoor arena in there to run that, and that's just that's an absolutely fantastic race of doing that. You know what else? You know what else this is the 1 year anniversary of?
No.
Oh, we'll have that later.
Why? Oh, now it's going to bug me. Crap, what did I forget? Is it in the show thread? I didn't read the show
No, it
thread.
hasn't. No,
Okay, good.
it isn't in the show thread.
And you're saying it's a shame? Oh, crap.
No, it's not. Well,
No,
well,
Jesse is. Oh, okay. Jerk, I was believing you like that.
Woo! That lots of things going on. Cop quotas going on that. Do they really exist? We'll be talking about that.
You
in
know
a
what?
little
I
bit.
want to talk about that.
Yes, we'll be talking about that.
I
Prohibition.
heard something about that earlier.
This is the 100-year anniversary of the start of Prohibition in 1922.
Is that the anniversary that we're talking about?
Yeah, no, no. I said 1 year anniversary
Oh.
of.
Oh, yeah,
that.
duh.
1 and 100.
Don't judge me.
Or a little. Well, at least
there's
they,
a 1 in
at
there
least,
somewhere.
yes, 1 just has more zeros on it. But I mean, I'll give you
Thank you.
I'll give you some credit
I just-
for keeping in the 1 range on that.
And thanks everybody tuning in on Facebook and YouTube. Hi
Okay.
Rex and
We need to start
Lucy.
running the YouTube, or we need to start run.
I don't think Facebook likes it when you add YouTube's link to them. There's kind of a no there. We could do it, but
Well, we don't necessarily have to run it then the Facebook. I
not
mean,
sure
we just
how long that'll
we
last.
just transition people over to the YouTube
Everybody go to
channel.
YouTube
Yes.
and subscribe
What-
to.
Put the YouTube link in the comments.
Not to hear what I said.
Not well. I
Okay.
didn't say it was very
Anyways,
smart.
Go to YouTube and
IE
search,
Newswire at YouTube.
subscribe, and then every
Yes.
time we go up, you won't miss Makeup with Stephanie.
Yeah.
It's a 2-minute exclusive.
Oh, that. Well, yeah, that's a pretty good feature on that. As it goes, and yeah, that's an exclusive feature that you only get on the YouTube channel.
And tonight on the show, at the end of the show, we're going to have a very special friend explaining a very exciting event coming up on February 2nd. I can't wait.
Oh, so you're on the surprise list too, huh?
I am. Because even though I've told you a couple times, I know you weren't listening. So
No.
it's gonna be a surprise, even though you've already heard it.
On that stuff. No, it's a fun. And we missed something yesterday, and we have the video. I forgot.
Uh-oh.
We forgot to. Well, we forgot to do two things. We have the Penn story, but we forgot to run the video on AJ Foyt. Yesterday was AJ Foyt's 85th birthday.
How did you forget that?
Well, yeah, no, I didn't forget it,
Wow.
but we did. I forgot to run it on the show yesterday on that. Another one. Betty White turns 98 today.
Aw, she's a sweetheart.
Yes, she's.
Happy birthday, Betty.
That's pretty good. You think she'll make 100?
I hope so.
She's got 2 more years to
I
go
hope so.
on the old meter. Pull up the picture of the Nancy
old
Pelosi pens if you got that, because we forgot we
The
missed
pants
that
or
one.
pens?
We missed that one yesterday. There was a there. This was the impeachment, the faux pas impeachment that's going on, the non-event. These are the gold-plated pins you and I and everybody are paying for with Nancy Pelosi's signature on
Wow.
them. These because when there's a signing.
How much does a pen go for?
Oh well, some people were selling them on eBay for like $500 a piece.
Ah.
And some ridiculous amount. See, all the paperwork, she's got to sign each individual ones.
With a different pen every time?
So you can imagine how much these gold-plated pens
Does she
cost.
have to sign it with a different pen every time?
Well,
she
no,
signs?
but that's what she. Well, let's just say there was 30 documents, so she had 30 pens made, so she could give them away per se. And this is one of the pens
Why?
that signed the documents on that.
I
Because
guess that's kind of cool. Maybe. Gold plated?
yeah, it's not cool in my book when I am paying.
No,
for
that's
it.
a cool thought of, hey, let me sign this and then give it away and donate it. Is cool. But not when you're making somebody pay
Yeah,
for it.
and then like I
you
say,
didn't
they're
pay for it
showing up
yourself.
on eBay. People are thinking, well, I'm going to make me a few bucks on eBay, doing this. I mean, our government from top to bottom has just gone freaking haywire. and
Insane.
at
What
every-
is wrong with them?
Yes,
Gold plated pens, really?
yes. I mean, yeah, there were, and with golden signature of Nancy Pelosi's signature on these pens.
And it wasn't even that great of a signature.
Well,
Anyways. That's
how are you enjoying your newfound commentary and love for politics?
I hate it. But I feel like I'm nailing it a little bit, so.
Yes.
No, but really, the signature sucked. No, I'm just kidding. I need to stop talking. See, now this is when you get me too excited, and I need to shut up. But no, I really do think that's a cute idea. If she would have paid for it out of her own pocket and donated it, and it's a shame that people are selling it for $500 on eBay, and now you're taking what could have been a cool memory or a cool little historical kind of thing, and now you're just coming up off it, and that's just kind of shady. I don't like people like that.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah,
Take it and keep
Yes.
it forever. I mean, that's something that's pretty cool. Really, it is. Why would you want to sell that?
well,
Because
yeah.
you're getting $500.
Yeah,
for it. That's why.
exactly right. I mean, if you got to pay, well, yeah, here's somebody
Like the
gives you
lug nut that we got at the racetrack. I could have sold that on eBay, but I kept that because to me that's cool. It was a ring for like 10 minutes till it was too heavy. But I still had the damn thing.
Right. I doubt if you get $500 for the lug nut ring.
I know I'd get 1,000 easy. Came off. Whose car did it come off of? Just throw a name out there so it sounds cool.
So it sounds cool. Alex Bowman.
See, it came off Alex Bowman's car. I mean, who wouldn't want a lug nut
There
from
you
his
go.
car? Anyways. What?
I don't know if this thing is true, but apparently each pen costed like $2,000.
Shut
I don't.
up.
No,
I know.
you're gonna really do that. I think I've got the article on the cop thing up there on.
Do you think it was more or less than that?
I sure as heck. If it costs $2,000 a piece on 30 pens, I
Yeah,
mean, we're
that's
not
a lot.
talking like.
He's gonna blow his
Yes.
head over here, and
I
I,
think-
got to sit next to him. So Jesse, stop
Yeah,
it.
I think we need to find out how much those
Yes.
pens
Please
actually
don't
cost.
do it after the show because I don't want to get hit.
Okay, so what do you want?
Do I have the article about the cop and the quotas up on there? Put it up on the screen. Are there traffic ticket quotas? Riverside police officers suing the city says yes. a Riverside police motorcycle officer sued the city, claiming police supervisors retaliated against him because he protested what he describes as illegal traffic ticket quota. This is in the Press Enterprise, written by Brian Rokos. Sean Castile's attorneys filed a lawsuit in Superior Court in Riverside on December 9th, 2019, asking for unspecified damages of more than $25,000. Castile said supervisors have prevented him from being promoted, caused him to lose overtime pay, opportunities and pay, and riders, and written negative evaluations. Castile also said his health has been suffered as a result of, he said, that he might have to retire early. Officer Ryan Railsback of the police department, spokesman, said, which we've had on the show, said the city does not comment on pending litigation. For that reason, Railsback also declined to describe how traffic officers are evaluated or whether there are any ticket quotas. The city has not filed a response to the lawsuit with the court as of Tuesday, 2014. Then it goes on to explain government code. It's illegal to have traffic ticket quotas, I think in the state of California under the vehicle code and everything else. But really, do we all believe that there is not one law enforcement agency that is in charge of traffic enforcement that does not have a ticket quota?
I don't think they would have it. Why would they need a ticket quota? I mean, you can sit out there and probably collect, I don't know how many tickets in a day just because people don't like to follow the rules. I mean, do you think there's a ticket quota? Do you think they say by the month of December you need to have 100+ tickets?
Well, I think I think they pretty much scientifically figured that out. You're a 100% right in my book. Yeah, they get... As far as if they wanted to write traffic citations all day long, 24/7, 365, I mean, they could do that.
Right.
They could jam
They can do that on Iris and Nason all
day.
day.
They could jam the courts to the hilt and they couldn't even process everything.
Right.
So I think there's an up and down quota, and they know that happy medium of how many tickets they write versus how many people are just going to pay them. You know, how many people are going to fight them, not show up, da-da-da-da-da. So if they go too far over the line, then it's going to cause problems and if it's too far under the line, they're going to lose, as they think, revenue. They're going to lose money out of our pockets, which traffic fines and stuff are ridiculous today. I mean, I don't think there's a one that's under $200, and I mean, that's, and I'm going up to $4,000 and $5,000 and $1,000 for routine traffic violation. If you're going 5 miles or 10 miles over the speed limit, what is that? I mean, practically anywhere that starts at about $200 anymore and goes up. I mean, running a red light is like $300. It's all up and down the line, all the same. So it's. I
don't think they would have a quota though. Maybe they have like a goal. Like their little pep talk before. I feel like one's like, you must meet this. The goal is like, you don't. It's cool. Kind of thing. One's more relaxed and one's not.
We have somebody on the line. Who we got on the line?
Pop.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh,
yes!
You nailed it.
Yay!
You were on it.
I was.
You even blew your earbuds
I almost
out.
did. It stayed.
Yeah. On that. Go ahead, Bob. What's on your mind?
Well, we ought to talk about the fine fiasco about tickets at Moreno Valley with red light cameras. One of the best ones we ever did was on Day Street going into the shopping center at the old Riverside Raceway. When you're going southbound on Day Street and you make a left into Moreno Valley Mall, they had a red light camera there on the Riverside side. I mean, that Riverside got the ticket, but the camera was on the Moreno Valley side. Flickinger and White and Dickie Doo, they all signed to put that, gave them a right to put their camera on the Moreno Valley side to give people Moreno Valley tickets so the Riverside City could get the money.
Yeah,
That's just wrong. That's
was
evil.
Fine,
Well, there was thousands and thousands of dollars because every one of them tickets was over $500, and it went on for almost a year. And when they found out about it, when finally everybody was complaining, the flick says, well, gee, I thought that we got all the money. And they said, no, Riverside got all the money.
Folks, these are the people you elect, and they do this today. These are the people you elect to make these.
So that's what happened. Are you there?
On there, yes.
You forgot to.
Now I've got. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yeah, these are the people you elect to. It's not coming on. There you go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Finally got that. Yeah, I bumped my switch on there. But no, these are the people you elect to your city councils, government, and they have the same about ability or mentality of today. That was one of the great. So let me just for those of you who don't know, we used to call him the flick in the dick. We had a Richard Stewart, which is the longest serving city council member in Moreno Valley, 24 years. The second longest city council member is the late Bonnie Flickinger, which she served about 19 years in that. And I think it was you. Was it you that came up with the name "The Flick in the Dick"?
Yeah, I did.
I think yes.
I used to call them that there, and they didn't like it.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they had a big smile on their face every time that name came up on that. But no, this is, and along with Charlie White, and this is a mentality. These guys are making your decisions like that, and they had no idea. Like you said, oh, well, they always say, well, we're going to get revenue. Every time you hear that we're getting revenue, that's money that's coming out of your pocket, folks, on that. And on top of that, like you say, they didn't even have any idea. What they were doing was putting, which was actually a lie, because it was not. The money was not coming to, somewhat of a lie. It wasn't coming to Moreno Valley. The money was going to the city of Riverside, a la versus an action of the Moreno Valley City Council.
By the time they stopped that whole thing, the state of Arizona, which owned all the cameras, is estimated they took over $1 million of taxpayer money out of Moreno Valley with red light cameras before they finally figured out we weren't getting the money.
And we didn't get $1 of the traffic fines of the camera system.
We got about 12%. They said.
Oh, we got about maybe 100 to 120,000 out of the million.
Yep, that's about it.
Sounds like a really nice payoff for the guys in Arizona.
Yeah, they did real well. Riverside was doing the same thing until they found out Arizona was cleaning our clock.
Yes, that company came in there and talked these guys. And it's a prime number one example because most everybody can relate to this because they got a traffic ticket. But this is the reason in a lot of cases why your housing is expensive and everything else. These guys come in here and talk the ding-dong government officials, representatives into this stuff with all this flowery stuff, like the Arizona company came in and said, oh, you're going to get all this revenue, yada, 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 which was a bunch of BS. They're the ones that got all the revenue. You got a few crumbs, you got a few pennies on the side of that, and then it took them a year or two to figure out, and the cities and counties were getting ripped off. In the meantime, the poor constituents that they were representing were out millions of dollars. Yeah,
and like I say, Moreno Valley had to give an easement of their street, the sidewalk, just behind the sidewalk, which is a city easement to this company to put their cameras on the Moreno Valley side to give Moreno Valley people tickets trying to shop at Moreno Valley Mall. So the $500 that they could have shopped at the mall went to Arizona and a part to Riverside City.
Yep, it's a quick take. Did you see the picture of the Nancy Pelosi impeachment pens?
Yeah, I saw that. This morning can you believe that? And you're making the country look stupid, and we're making a big prize out of it. Now, how much more stupider can we get is to have pins given away because we're impeaching a president. Like, that's a big honor to give out a pin to impeach a president.
On top of that, this is if there was any chances that his impeachment had any teeth behind it at all, you would see the stock market down. You'd see businesses panicking, over the uncertainty. You'd see bond prices going down. The exact opposite is happening. Nobody believes Donald Trump is going to get removed from office in this cycle or over this impeachment. So why are we wasting all this time of doing this in this dog and pony show?
Well, makes good press for Clinton News Network, because the Clintons want to get even with the Republicans, and that's what this is all about, watching the Democrat Clintons trying to get back at the Republicans because they impeached Billy Boy.
Of the time. Yeah, it's I mean, it's something that just makes you shake your head on that. In fact, although I'm very glad that it happened, and I think it is, because like I've been saying across the day, I think this impeachment is going to guarantee Donald Trump is going to win come January 5th, 2020.
Well, the best thing that's going about this impeachment is we ain't passing no gun laws.
Yes, yeah, they're not doing any other damage that they could be while they're doing that, and and even maybe a good or bad effect, but Pocahontas, Liz Warren, and Bernie Sanders cannot be out on the campaign trail because they're going to have their butts sitting in the Senate listening to this stuff.
That's right. They ain't going to get nothing done for another month or two. So.
Yeah.
So then it'll become summertime, and they'll have their summertime vacation. So pretty well, the 4 years won't get too much made. No laws made against us.
Yeah, I guess it's like the old Hippocratic oath that the doctor's got to take. First, do no harm. At least if they're occupying their time with this, they're not killing us in other ways.
Yeah, trying to figure out how to take more money. Has anybody or have you heard what the cost of those pens were? Because they got to be tremendous. Oh, I've heard different prices. I've heard $100 a piece and $50 a piece. Everybody's guessing. Nobody really knows, I don't think. But it will come out eventually.
Yeah.
Somebody will know the true number.
Eventually. I mean, with gold-plated on the ends and gold-plated Nancy Pelosi's signature on there, those things weren't cheap.
All that artwork and everything all costs money before you even get the print to get the pen. And all that, backdoor money to put that all together and make all them pens, and all that time, and staff people ordering them and getting them there on time and all that. Maybe that's why she was holding up the impeachment until her pens got done.
Hey, that's a good point.
She wanted to make sure you had her gold pens before she would sign it.
That's so stupid.
Oh man, it's.
I better stop before I get you in trouble.
No, I do a good enough job at that.
He really does.
On my own. I don't think anybody could help me get in any more trouble than I do on my own. But thanks a lot for calling in.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Pop.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's a good thing you reminded me of that. That was one of our all-time really good fiascos we pulled off on Moreno Valley. Yeah, we gave the city of Riverside the easement to put the cameras in that they were going to collect the revenue over there by where Best Buy and all that is right there on that corner. And all the ticket revenue, the pittance that they did collect all went to the city of Riverside.
That's stupid.
That's what I say. Again, I talk about it a lot, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to come back and after when we join a KMET here in about 5 or 10 minutes.
Today's flying.
We're going to talk about, because today is the 100th year anniversary of. Uh-oh.
Crap, I forgot.
Prohibition.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And
let me write that down.
There's and it's like this. I mean, government trying to control things or mandate social behavior has never worked. And this
it doesn't work here.
This was the prime #1 example of that, and we're going to run a video from Fox News after the break on why this stuff all went haywire. So, but I think you want to go through some of your stories that you had up on the that you sent in, or.
I love it. When you just put me on blast like that. I'm not
of that.
ready.
No, we'll roll into that after that. So,
it was one that was really cute though, and I just found this kind of funny. How does a pigeon get a sombrero on his head and it fits perfectly?
Well, I guess it was a custom-made pigeon sombrero.
But there is a little 27 clip, if my producer Jesse kind of picked up that I was segueing into that and can throw that up. But in Las Vegas, Nevada, a miniature cowboy hat glued to its head. Oh, it died earlier. Oh my gosh, I should have read this story before.
We got to get to this caught on camera. A pigeon wearing a tiny hat, this time in Reno, Nevada. You thought we were done talking about this? Don't think so fast. The city's manager tweeted a photo of a bird wearing a sombrero this time. You'll remember pigeons were wearing cowboy hats, and they went viral after someone recorded video of them here in Las Vegas. And then just this week, Billy the Pidge, who was one of those pigeons who was seen with a cowboy hat on and was eventually rescued, ultimately passed away this week.
The time now?
So you did not watch the video all the way through. Are you angling?
Oh my God!
Are you angling for the goldfish brain title back again?
Rest in peace, little cowboy
It,
hat.
it pays in this business to actually watch what you're going to put on the air and be coherent about what you're
We're not
talking
on the
about.
air yet. We're on Facebook.
The video was only 30 seconds long. It was that painful to watch 30 seconds to know how the story ended.
Crap. I'm so fired. It's not even funny.
You were doing so well yesterday, and even the start of today, you're starting to really get into the swing of things and actually sounding intelligent.
What?
For a moment,
No.
you're like, what happened to the cowboy hat?
Well, yeah, yeah, they didn't give it to Joe.
Anyways.
Did they give? Yeah, no.
The
That's
point of the story, why I sent it in, was because the pigeon had a sombrero on. I mean, that is so cute.
well, yeah.
It had nothing to do with the cowboy hat crow. Or whatever the hell it was. I don't remember. I wasn't listening when we played the video. I'm just kidding. But isn't that cute, though? He has a little sombrero. Do you think somebody's going around? Well, obviously, someone has to be going around gluing these hats to these birds.
yeah, he
Which
could.
is so sad.
He
but
could have been like a
Look at how
homing
much joy it's
pigeon.
brought us.
You know, some people use pigeons. You'll tag them and stuff. Like if you're using them to train hunting dogs and stuff. You know, you'll send them out there. You'll tag pigeons because sometimes you'll just let them go, so the dog knows. The dog knows that if he sees a pigeon that goes off and it's not shot or something, he knows when to quit. So it's part of that. But you tag pigeons and stuff to.
So you tag pigeons by
Yeah,
gluing
so
a
it
cowboy
could have
hat
been
to
a
their
pet.
head?
It could have been a pet pigeon. Maybe it was somebody's pet that they had. Who?
And they glued the hat to the head?
Yeah, you put
That's
put
okay?
the. You know, well,
I mean, does that count as animal cruelty? I mean, I think it's adorable.
why? I thought it was pretty cool.
I thought it was the cutest thing I've ever seen
Yes.
all week. I mean, I didn't know we were going into the pigeon dying, but hey, I mean, he brought me joy. Some great laughter too.
See, well,
Cute.
well, see now you're enjoying the death of a pigeon.
Oh my God. I guess I kind of am, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
See, you're
Heartless.
making a transition.
Oh my God, I'm becoming you.
Welcome to the hillbilly world.
No. Somebody stop this madness. In Kansas, a man asked a judge to allow him to sword fight with his ex-wife. You think the judge will grant that?
Do what now?
A man going through a divorce asked the judge if he could sword fight with his ex-wife,
Well, I
saying,
think no, that would be.
saying she destroyed me illegally, or legally. Destroyed him legally with
Oh, that
having to pay taxes and everything.
that would be a great Jerry Springer Styles TV show. Maybe we should call them and say, yeah, we'll videotape that.
And
for
he
you.
also asked the judge for 12 weeks' time so he can secure his Japanese samurai sword.
Well,
Wow.
I would figure if he was requesting that he would already have one, but
And if he's requesting the sword fight with the ex-wife, I would hope that they would grant custody and maybe tell the wife, stay away. Wouldn't that kind of qualify for something called, oh my God, now I can't think. I have pigeon brain. Oh my God, I have pigeon brain now. Crap.
So,
Training order.
did you grow wings now?
No, but maybe I will in my sleep.
on that, we're
Got 30 seconds.
we're having too
Wow.
much fun on this. I guess that's why we call it Fantastic Fun Feckless Friday.
Oh, and a dog gave birth to a green puppy. What's that about?
Yeah, I saw a picture of that. You think that's real?
You didn't read the article?
It's real. I read the article.
It's real. The mom's stomach fluid got in there or something in her stomach got in there while she was pregnant, and the puppy turned green. That's the one article that I sent in that I
Is it going to be?
read.
Did it just dye the fur? Or is it going to be permanently green?
I would.
All right, here we
He
go.
answered before me because mine was.
It's on the air. The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Welcome to IE Newswire Daily with our hosts Stephanie and Roy, where we cover the news from the Inland Empire and beyond. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Rolling in with KMET 1490, the Mighty Met on
Fantastic Friday!
You got it. You're up
Nailed
on
it
the.
this time. I'm
You're on
ready
the
to go.
gas pedal in that. Well, yeah, we get
Yep.
a practice run when we roll in on IE Newswire Live on YouTube and Facebook Live on those. So you can all check us out on video on that. But we welcome all our listeners tuning in on, again, the Mighty Met 1490 KMET out of Banning, California on that. Sean, who runs all the, pushes all the buttons over there. We got producer extraordinaire Jesse running all the equipment over here. And in the Toyota San Bernardino recording studios, Stephanie and Roy here on the show. We had a lot of fun with that. We discussed the quota
Yeah.
deal and the Riverside cop that's saying because he didn't write enough tickets or whatever it is, he's alleging that he was passed over for promotions on
Maybe
that.
he just didn't do his job good.
I'm siding with the cop.
Yes, me too. Apparently, our practice run didn't go so well.
And I don't think there's well, there might be two people in the whole world that might believe that there's not a quota system, even though it is illegal, and that's
think
why they're
there
not admitting
is.
to it. But, in all practicality, there is. My good old famous father called in and reminded me of the great red camera fiasco between Riverside and Moreno Valley. And that was a good segue into this because we're going to cover this and have the prohibition video ready, Jesse. This is why, and we started off with why governments. It's the Pelosi impeachment deal with the gold-plated pens, 30 of them that you and me and I and all bought of that. Of this non-impeachment stuff that's going on. The fallacy of the stupidity of Moreno Valley, who granted Riverside the right to have a camera so the revenue could go to Riverside. That was one of the flick in the dick two of our longest serving council members. See all the fun you missed with all the stuff when we were at the city council meetings and stuff doing all this stuff.
Yeah, I am so bummed that I missed it.
Of that, but this is another reason why you don't want government, like I said, no matter how well-intentioned, 98.7% of the time, every government program winds up in grave corruption or failure. Because, this is the 100-year anniversary of the start of Prohibition in 1922. And it was an abject failure. Anytime government tries to mandate social policy or what you want to do, it fails, and it fails miserably, and it affects you. It takes away your freedom to live your life as you want, as you see fit, and that's the whole crux of this. As I said, the 3 F's. It takes away your freedom, your natural right, your natural born right of free will, and it puts you in that fear. Being free of fear. Because they're saying, well, you can't do this, but it didn't work. What was it, 10 or so years later, they had to repeal Prohibition because it was such an abject failure. What it did was cause black markets, more crime, did not cut, actually, it might have even increased alcohol consumption in the time that it did that. It had every negative impact other than, but the intention was, people are drinking too much. And there's a good statistic. I think they drank back in the 20s when this came on. The alcohol consumption per person is like 2 or 3 times what it is today.
Wow.
So they had probably a lot of socio-fact, because back in those days there wasn't a lot of things to do compared to today. So you had,
Right.
once you were out working in the
And
fields.
it was probably like they would come up with new ways of making it.
Right.
Or
I mean, it was like
flavoring
the
it.
old Wild West days, or down at the saloon. You'd go, you do your work or whatever, and then most people would gather at the saloon or go home and drink and whatever, and then they'd come back and recycle it all again. It was kind of like, and back in there were very few cars to drive. There wasn't that many of there, so I mean, people didn't have. There wasn't the problem with drunken driving per se as there was today, with all the more cars and going faster and everything else. Not that it was a good thing to be doing back then, but, it was just a different time. But the government decided, well, this is not a good, or we should, this was a bad policy, and we're going to correct what we think the people are doing that they shouldn't be doing. And so we're just going to ban alcohol. What they did was made the problem worse. So when you got the video, go ahead and roll it, Jesse. This is from Fox News, a little documentary on how the effects of 100 years later after Prohibition.
This January, we're celebrating the 100th anniversary of Prohibition here in the United States. So let's take a look back in American history at how Prohibition came to be and then not.
To talk about Prohibition, you actually really need to kind of talk and set the stage that goes back to the early 1800s. Whiskey was wildly crazy here in the United States. People drank beer, people drank a little bit of wine, but whiskey was the spirit that everybody liked. It was the spirit of choice because A, everybody drank it and enjoyed it. It was cheap to make, and it was also cheap to purchase. The other reason was it had a huge medicinal following. Doctors and pharmacists prescribed whiskey more than anything else. Not to cure things, but to get you through those hard periods when, if you had influenza or you had a really bad injury, it was just to dull the pain, basically. But it was prescribed. I mean, millions of barrels annually went to just medicinal whiskey. So the usage was huge. And that, when you have a usage in a product like that, that's that big, it divided the country. You had people who loved that product and people who hated it and were against it, which brought up something called the temperance movement. So the temperance movement was a movement that had many fractions beneath it, but the idea behind the temperance movement was they wanted to squash alcohol, distribution, production, anything alcohol related, gone. So the temperance movement was created, and two of the fractions that were really important in the temperance movement were something called the Anti-Saloon League. They'd go around to saloons and to bars and just try to make life difficult for those owners, hoping that would keep people away from the bars.
The people of America will never submit to a bootlegger's or a rum seller's government.
The other was the Women's Christian Temperance Union. And those two combined were the two forces that kind of led us into and held our hands into Prohibition. So in 1918, that was the Prohibition Act was kind of created. In 1919, it was enacted, and then in 1920, it went into effect. But what was nice was that the country in 1919 allowed distilleries, they gave this year-long grace period to get rid of their whiskey. So a lot of distillers would take their whiskey, they weren't producing it anymore, they were just unloading it. And by 1920, you couldn't buy, sell, or distribute. And it was something called the Volstead Act, which was a guy from Minnesota that was in the House. Representatives, his name was connected to it, and he helped draft the Volstead Act. And that was used to create what is now known as our Prohibition.
Tim, there must have been a lot of people who rebelled against that.
So everyone, in that rebellious fashion, started making whiskey on their own. And that was dangerous at the time because some people made really poor whiskey, not just like moonshine. And if you make whiskey incorrectly, or any spirit incorrectly, it's dangerous. Blindness, paralysis, death. So high quality whiskey was an issue.
And the poisonous hooch that is now being sold and consumed under total prohibition.
The Roaring Twenties got its name from the lunacy unleashed by the unpopular law. With its flappers, the Black Bottom, the Shimmy, and the Charleston. It caused the world to look askance at the United States and become shocked and worried when a wave of lawlessness followed our breakdown of decorum.
So entire towns were even in on the lawlessness? Can you give us an example?
The town of Templeton, of this tiny town of about 350 to 400 people respectively, everyone cooked whiskey. This is a really unique town. This is in the middle of Middle America, in the breadbasket of the heartland, and nobody associates Iowa and farming with whiskey production. But this was an area, they were rebelling against, they had the farm crisis. This is post-World War I, prohibition's going on. Everything says these guys shouldn't be not only making whiskey because they can't by law, people shouldn't even exist there. Most farms were foreclosing, banknotes were coming in, but all the farmers in the Templeton area, nobody lost their banknotes. Nobody lost their farms. It's because they all cooked whiskey. They all found a way to make money and to put food on their family's table.
There was also a more nefarious side to it, right?
Crime wasn't born out of prohibition, but bootlegging and criminal activity definitely increased during that time.
Bootlegging was another sinister development, and men and women who never drank added their thirst to those of regular drinkers. An army of prohibition agents mustered to stop illicit brewing and distilling, rum running, and illegal sales was helpless. Despite raids, speakeasies flourished like weeds. Gangsterism was a natural sequel, and battles for exclusive territories erupted with a violence unparalleled in the history of law enforcement.
Murderous criminal organizations flourishing all over the country upon the enormous profits made in bootleg liquor traffic.
Al Capone, commissar of vice and corruption, became a front-page figure and a millionaire on the easy money involved in evading the noxious law.
It's the thing that ultimately got the country behind wanting to abolish it, because crime was so out of control.
For 13 years, the idiocy continued despite a now awakened public opinion that realized the folly of the proscriptive amendment and its equally ineffective Volstead Enforcement Act, which made scenes like these a national disgrace.
So prohibition was from 1920 to 1933, and in 1933, the 21st Amendment was passed, abolishing the prohibition movement.
In December 1933, when repeal lifted the ban, a people again allowed to order good bourbon actually began to drink moderately. Per capita consumption dropped, and cut whiskeys and chemical concoctions became a memory.
For the day is the satisfaction that must come to those who have opposed the 18th Amendment and its sustaining legislation to have so distinguished a committee go on record that it is a failure.
There you go.
That was an awesome video.
Yes.
That was really cool.
It shows you they were banning. People are drinking too much. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing that. What did it do? It drove alcohol's consumption up. It made alcohol more dangerous because now, for one thing, when you take something away from somebody, people want it more. Then, like they say, they were making what they called rot gut, poisonous alcohol, because who knows what was, They were not using sanitary measures to make the alcohol on that. Plus, we were spending all this time on law enforcement busting people who were making the stuff, making the moonshine and whatever, whiskey and everything else that was going on that. And it was a total freaking mess. And when they ended it...
And then you end up letting them drink.
And then when they ended prohibition, what was it, 10 or 13 years later, alcohol consumption went down.
Waste of time.
Yes.
And other people's happiness, too.
This is why you do...
I need a straw now.
This is why when Ronald Reagan said the most dangerous words you can hear is, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help you." Because they're not. They're into empowering themselves, or doing either making money for themselves or forcing you to do that, or putting you enslaved into their way of thinking, their way of doing, so you have to do with them. You are on the plantation, as Mason Weaver says, when you're doing this stuff. So it's a very distinct lesson that everybody comes up with this stuff, or they think, well, the government should be doing this, the government should be doing this. No, most of the time. They should be out of this stuff not getting in the way. If you would, California housing would be affordable. We would have probably a freeway on every block by now. There would be no such thing as homelessness because even if you didn't, we would have so much stuff going around. Even if you were a total vagrant or something, somebody would probably have an extra place of something they wouldn't be using they could put you in anyway. So, and again, as like Jesse said he said 10 years ago, you never seen any homeless vagrants around. It's a cause of government policy that's got us into that. And government policy ultimately is us look in the mirror. I had a discussion. Somebody stopped by today talking about this, and I said, you know what? It's been, let's say they're talking about some people on the other side of the aisle, and now they're starting to get mad about this stuff because now it's backfiring on them. I said, well, duh, what do you think we've been talking about? You demonize Trump, you demonize me, and a lot of people that think like us are trying to tell you the truth. Mason Weaver, Tom Del Beccaro, Melissa Ann Murray, maybe even Goldfish Brain here a little bit.
Oh, a lot of it.
And it's so frustrating, and it has to affect them before they finally realize, doing that. I said, when are you going to stop? When are you going to tell the truth? When are you going to stop this stuff for telling everybody? That's why I come up with this, come up with the 3 Fs. And I'm really, 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 really going to stay on this because there is no, a free as a handout is the road to despair. Freedom, free will, and free from fear is the path to opportunity. And that's what we all got to, that's the bottom line. If you think you're going to get somebody else or something, or somebody's going to give something to you, eventually it's going to collapse. As Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady, the great Prime Minister of England said, socialism is great until you run out of other people's money. And if you think you're going to get a handout from somebody, you're going to run out of other people's money. And that's just the bottom line of all this stuff. Nobody is going to take care of you. If you're not putting in more into the kitty than you're taking out, something's going wrong. And that's the bottom line of how life works. Not governments, anything else. That's how life works. And you're not gonna change that. And I think the example, and that's why I brought it up on the 100th year anniversary of Prohibition, because there's probably no more shining example of history in the United States showing where government trying to run things winds up being a disaster.
And they got rid of all the alcohol. I mean, what the hell's wrong with people?
That's
like, I mean, come on. Edward writes in, my grandparents got busted for making bathtub gin. Thank you, Edward, for writing in.
Oh, I got a whole good story. One day, when we got some more time, the Bleckert family has a good history of what went on back in the Roaring '20s and this whole thing of going on about the whole thing. But that's a story for. We'll have to spend some time on that because it's a very fascinating story of what went on that.
Speaking of fascinating, I got a fascinating event coming up pretty soon on February 2nd. You know what February 2nd is? You better know what freaking February 2nd is.
I'm going to play Goldfish Brain.
Really?
What's going on February 2nd? I have no idea.
Wow, I want to smack you. Is that how you feel when I say that kind of crap?
Well, how does it feel to get that kind of answer?
Shut up. Now Roy will not be no longer attending, am partnering up with Mountain Mike's Pizza to throw the biggest, the best, the baddest Super Bowl party ever. You coming? Nope, you got it.
Yeah, you just kicked me out.
To explain more, we had the manager of Mountain Mike's, located off of Iris, to explain his food and drink specials and invite everybody down here. Gil, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hello, Stephanie. Hello, Roy.
Roy is uninvited, so
Roy,
just
I am
don't
no
talk to him.
disappointing you right now.
What was that?
I am a little disappointed in you right now.
Oh,
I know.
What did I do now?
You did not know there was a party on February 2nd? Come on now.
No, that was actually
It's going to be the biggest party in town.
Yes, it is. That's the response
invite.
I get 98.7% of the time from somebody that sits to my left all the time when I bring this up. So I just thought it might be fun to turn the tables.
Well,
on
neither me or Gil appreciated that. So.
No, it is. It's going to be an absolute blast out there with the biggest Super Bowl party in the Inland Empire. Is going to be at Mountain Mike's starting on that. I predict it's going to be the 49ers and the Chiefs in that big game coming up.
Okay, now I like you now.
Am I invited back in now?
I think we're on the right track.
Yeah, I know, because I think the 49ers are your team, if I ain't mistaken.
That is true.
He loves the 49ers.
And
the Chiefs are going to take it. I mean, obviously.
Well, you might be getting yourself disinvited here.
I'm doing his advertising and his decorating, so that's
I was trying to help you out with this illustration, but I don't think it worked.
Yeah. We all know what's going to happen on that day. But anyways.
Anyway.
How are you guys doing?
Absolutely fun. But no, that's part of the Super Bowl of sports. It's your team versus my team. Mm-hmm. And we all root for our team, but in the end of the day, what we really want is a good game and have a good time out at Mountain Mike's.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what we're planning to do this Sunday. So we're gonna give our prizes. We're gonna raffle our prizes, and we're gonna have a big watch party, and on our big 75-inch TVs, and we're gonna have a game on and sound on and everything. So we're gonna have fun and make it a big, good, fun game. Whoever wins, may the best team wins, whoever that be.
Yep.
And let's hope that's the Niners, huh?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I said that at the start of the playoffs. I said it's going to be my prediction is the 49ers and the Chiefs we're going to meet in the Super Bowl. Other than that little bad stretch of about 2 or 3 games of that, I mean, the 49ers have been rocking it all year. Their pass rush is absolutely awesome.
Absolutely, and I think just the defense they have, and it's pretty elite, and I think we're gonna have a good game. Whoever the teams may be, I think we're gonna have a good game. So,
and that's one thing I always do, because like I said, when the Rams left in '79 or '80, I mean, pro football kind of went off my radar screen, and when the Rams came back, like I don't count the Rams time when they were in that other city over there. When they came back, I've been slowly kind of gravitating to it. I've been mainly following college football, for many decades. But I've been getting back, I've been watching some of the games this year and a little bit last year of that. So, I mean, I'm kind of getting back into the swing of pro football again. But like I said, I mean, I was happy and disappointed again. I mean, the Rams got in their second Super Bowl last year, and of course they had to lose again. But, they got eliminated this year. But like I say, I mean, I didn't see, and I didn't follow it that much, but I didn't see the 49ers. I mean, the Chiefs were a good team coming in. But, I mean, the 49ers have really made a big transition from last year to this year. I mean, they really stepped up their game.
No, absolutely, I agree with you on that. Yeah, I think there's some good pieces, and hopefully they can, whoever plays the best this Sunday, and they move on to the Super Sunday, they call it. So. Let's see who that's going to be, and whoever that's going to be, and we're going to celebrate them, and we're going to have a good time. So
that'll be a lot of fun.
You're going to be that.
Roy's still uninvited, so.
I thought I got back in since I predicted the 49ers were back.
No, he didn't. Gil.
Yeah. On the 49ers, I think he got back in.
It's at. Never mind.
I'm pretty slick, ain't I? You got me thrown out. I snuck back in through the back door.
That's all right. I'll get you kicked out again. I'm not worried about it.
We got about 30 seconds left in the segment. Tell them all the great specials they're going to enjoy on
so on a Sunday, we're going to do a happy hour all day where we're going to do 50% on the wings and the garlic sticks. And as far the beers go, my favorite thing, we're going to do a $2 pints for domestic beers and $3 pints on the premium beer, or even on the pitchers, we're going to do 50% off. So it's going to be a great day, and we're going to give out some prizes. We're going to raffle our prizes, shirts and pieces or whatever the case might be. And then I think we're just going to have a good, fun day to watch the game together. So, and I hope to see all of you guys there, and I think we'll make it fun.
You got it. It'll be a great time. Some incredible deals are there at Mountain Mike's. The pizza's great. The beer always tastes good, and all the other stuff you got there. Thanks for being on. We'll keep everybody up to date, and I hope it is the 49ers and the Chiefs in there.
Go Chiefs.
You got it.
I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go Niners, huh?
You got it.
Yeah.
I got to say that,
The
else I'm
49ers
going to
are gonna
get kicked out. Again. Thanks for being on, Gil.
I appreciate everyone's stuff.
You
Thanks.
got it.
Bye.
I want to do this clip before we get out because I missed it.
Oh,
or
yeah.
I
What's
had,
the 1 year thing that you were talking about?
I had, 1 year anniversary
Of?
where was I 1 year ago today?
Your spider bite!
Yes, I was in the hospital.
I feel like I should have brought a spider to bite you again. Dang it.
Yeah, thanks. I really don't want to do that again. No, I missed.
Wow, that's what this anticipation was your take to spider bite?
Yes, this is 1 year ago
God.
today. I was sitting in the hospital. Play the AJ Foyt video of that. I missed it yesterday. 85th birthday of AJ Foyt, probably the greatest race driver in the history of the world. And that here's a little running with the coin in 1963.
Roger Ward has picked up the pace and closing on the leader. This could be a battle right to the wire. Here's the rundown. 2, A.J. Foyt. 1, Roger Ward. 10, Chuck Hunks. 5, Bobby Marshman. 4, Don Branson. Foyt the leader out of turn 4. Roger Ward holding down second place, still closing. We're in the final lap.
There it is, AJ taking the checkered flag on that. I want to point out, back in those days, no roll cages, skinny tires on a 1 mile track going over 100 miles as you see him jump over the hills and bumps and all. These guys were really badass back in the day. I mean, there was a time when, a lot of these guys, and I think two of the guys that finished in the top 5 died in these cars doing that back in the day. That's how dangerous it was back in those days. No, those guys, Roger Ward, who lived in Banning, where we're broadcasting out of for a long time, add that, and I think that's where he finally passed away a few years ago. 2-time Indy 500 winner, finished section. But the great AJ Foyt was that. Had fun today. It was absolute blast, all on that.
It was great.
You had it.
Go find a pigeon with a sombrero.
And as we say, we're
gone.